Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to create an iOS plugin to integrate local notification for the Godot game engine. So let's get started. Firstly, first you will require macOS because we will be making use of Xcode, and iOS can be run only from macOS. So apart from macOS you will need to install Python. You will also need Xcode from Apple App Store. You can download it, and for scones you can install Homebrew. After you have installed Homebrew, you can just run brew install scones. That will install scones for you. Like, it will help us to generate the iOS headers which are required. Then we have to create a folder. You can name it whatever you want. Next we have to create a folder. You can name it whatever you want. I have named it as my workspace. This upper folder which you see work like this is the first plugin which I had created, and I will be copying a lot of boilerplate code from this plugin. That's why I have opened this. But in your case, just concentrate on this my workspace folder. Again, you can name it whatever you feel like. Then inside that we have to create a folder called plugin. I'll just copy that. Okay, then you will have to clone the Godot source code from GitHub. At the time of this recording I'm using Godot 4.2, so you can just open your terminal, cd to the plugin folder which we have created, and then run this particular command. This will take a little bit of time. I already have that Godot folder, so I'll just copy paste it. So this is the Godot source code which is the entire thing which I have. I'll just paste it over inside my plugin folder. Next, once your cloning has been done, you will have to open your terminal and cd to the Godot folder which we have just cloned, and then run this particular command. So I think this generates the iOS headers which we require. Now this will take a little bit of time. It might take up to an hour or two, so just be patient. I already have ran this command because this folder which I am copying Godot already have this, so I don't need to run it again. Then we will have to open Xcode, create a static library. So I'll just open Xcode. Okay, it is taking a little bit of time. Okay, so I'll just click on create new project, and over here I will just select static library. Okay, select iOS, select static library, and then click on next. Then inside product name you will have to give some product name. I will just call it local notification. Okay, then you will have to select your team. I won't show you my team. And inside language you can just select your select Objective-C, and then click on next. Make sure you select your team. I'll quickly select my team and come back. Now to save it, you will have to redirect to the plugin folder which we have created, and just click on create. So our iOS static library has been created. Now I will be copying a lot of code from my previous implementation which I have done. So I'll just copy this header, this module, this and this. Okay, I'll just drag and drop. Okay, so first we have to create a file called _module.h. so our static library name is local notification, right? So I'll just create a new file, right click, create new file, select header file, and here I will just name it as local notification _module. all right, and it will append the extension of header for us. Again, right click, select this, right click, new file, Objective-C file, click next, give it the same name, click create. Now here we will have to change the extension from .m to .mm, which is Objective-C++. Similarly for this Objective-C file as well, I'll change the extension from .m to .mm. Now I will just copy paste this particular code. This is boilerplate code, so don't worry about it even if you don't understand it. This code more or less remains the same whenever we try to create a new module. The only change which we have to do is just change your library name. So that's what I will be doing over here. It is local notification for me. over here as well, over here, and over here as well. Next we have to go to our arithmetic module.mm file. I'll again copy paste the entire piece of code and I'll just paste it over here. I'll copy local notification, again I'll paste it over here, I'll paste it over here, paste it over here. L should be capital, then I'll paste it over here, I'll paste it over here. L should be capital, then I'll just paste it over here. L is capital and paste it over here. Okay, then we also have to paste it over here, then over here as well, and here and here. Then we have to go to our arithmetic.h file. I'll copy paste the entire piece of code, go to our header file, I'll paste it over here. Again we have to, so firstly this we have to write everything in uppercase, so local notification. All right, I'll just copy this and I'll paste it over here as well. Okay, then I'll just copy this, and here we are importing user notifications, which is an import from iOS itself to display local notification to the user. Then this should be local notification, L capital. I'll copy this, paste it over here, paste it over here as well. Here I have defined two methods, one called request permission. So for displaying notification we first need to request permission from the user, and once we have that permission then we can call this send notification method, and here it accepts a title, but if you want there are other things as well like description which you can send from the Godot side itself, but for now keeping things simple, I'm just sending the title. And here again this should be local notification, local notification, local notification. Then we'll have to come to our main file, which is the implementation. I'll just copy paste everything, okay, and I'll paste it over here. So again we'll have to firstly write local notification over here. We don't require this arithmetic wrapper. Okay, so here I have one helper interface which I have created because we need to implement this UN user notification center delegate, which is from iOS itself, because we have to accept the delegate before implementing it. So same over here, so that's why I have created this interface and I have written one implementation as well. So given that we are extending this, we can override this particular method. So this will help us to display notification even when our app is in the foreground state, because typically notifications are displayed only when your app is in the background like push notification, but we want it to be displayed when your app is in foreground as well. That's why we have to override this particular bit of code. Then again I'll replace arithmetic with local notification. Okay, over here, over here. Then this should be local notification helper, as well as this should be, and I'll make the L small. Okay, then this should be local notification, and this should be local notification. Here also I'm writing local notification. Then instead of arithmetic helper, this should be local notification helper. This should be local notification. So I'll just keep this as helper as well itself. Okay, and here we are like creating a user notification center, for which I have created a variable over here and we are assigning the delegate over here. Then instead of local notification, we can write like this, I can write like this, and here it will be this is all boilerplate code, so don't worry about it. So here I am registering one signal called notification underscore result. I will be using the same signal to communicate any error, or in case if there is any success, if the permission is given or not. Same everything I have created one signal, but if you want you can create multiple signal as well. The signal will send data type of string, and I'm not really sure what this result is. The first template which I followed had this result, and I think this, I'm not sure if this name of result needs to be this, but yeah, I don't know what this is. And here we, as you remember, inside our header file we had created two methods, request permission and send notification. Same thing we have written over here, and we need to provide implementation for that as well. So I'll just replace this with local notification. This should be local, this should be local as well. Okay, now coming back to the implementation part for request permission. Even I am not really good at this, I will try to explain whatever I can. Basically we are asking for permission from the user. If the permission is not granted, I am sending a signal not granted. If permission is granted, and in case if there is any error, then I am saying that notification not allowed, something like this. Okay, so if here you can add else clause as well if you want to send a signal that permission was granted. So add just an else clause over here for this particular if. Next, for sending a notification, so here I have one title, we are converting it to NS string first, then we are getting hold of our UN user notification center. Then we are first checking whether we have that authorization or not. If yes, then we need to assign what all content we want to. So this title data will come from Godot side, so basically this title. Okay, body I have hard coded it for now, but you can change it to whatever you feel like. Sound is default sound, and here I want to trigger like just, I think it is 1 second. So as soon as some event happens and you call this method send notification, then within 1 second this notification should fire. I have given some identifier as well, and I'm not really sure what is happening over here, but I think we are basically sending a notification request to the OS, and now sometimes the notification might fail, so for that I'm emitting this signal. Otherwise if it is success, then I'm just emitting a signal as well, and in case permission was not given, I'm just sending a signal for that as well. Okay, so this is done. I'll just close everything. So this is done, this is done, this is done, this is done. Okay, next I'll open my project, my workspace, go to Godot, go to the platform folder, go to iOS and select any of this file, right click on it, get info, copy this info, then you will have to go to, click on this, go to build settings, search for header, search path. Okay, double click on it, click the plus button, paste it. Okay, then you also have to go to this local notification, go to info tab, and here you can see the minimum deployment target is 17.5. I will reduce it to 16, looks fine to me, but if you want you can reduce it more, but do remember this number because I want to make some changes in some other file as well based on this particular number. Okay, then we have to close Xcode completely, so I'll just quit Xcode. Okay, then again I'll come back to my workspace, click on local notification. What you have to do is just single click on this .xcode project, and you will have to drag and drop over here. Then click on this local notification, select all this file, drag and drop over here, and this empty local notification folder you can just delete it. Now I am not really sure why we want to do this, but if we don't do this, our bin, like the expected binary file of static library, is not properly generated. That's why we have to do this. Then we have to create this .jdip file. Okay, so I already have that file. I'll just copy paste it. I'll paste it over here. I'll open it just so that I can show you. Now instead of this, I have to name it as local notification. Okay, local notification .jdip. Okay, I'll just open it again, and here instead of arithmetic, this should be local notification. Sorry, one more thing which I forgot. I'll quickly open my Xcode project again. I just want to check whether I have renamed every arithmetic to local notification or not. Okay, I'll just, oh sorry, I need to search for arithmetic. Okay, no results, so I have done perfectly fine. Then we will have to replace this as well with local notification. Make sure L is small, then over here as well, and over here as well. Okay, here we don't require core data, but we require that user notification framework. Okay, let me just check what the name was. That user notifications. Okay, I'll paste it over here. I don't think we require any permission over here as well, so I'll just remove this. Okay, let's come back to our code. I'll just okay, so we have created this, we are done with this. Then we have to copy this xconstruct file. Now I already have one sample file which you can copy from this particular URL, but I will copy it from my okay, oh sorry, one mistake which I made was I copied this local notification.gdp in the local notification folder. It should be in the plugin folder. I'll just drop it over here. Sorry about that. This should be in the plugin folder. Make sure you have the correct structure which I have inside your plugin folder. Then I will just copy this xconstruct file which I have previously. I'll just open it. Now instead of arithmetic, okay, sorry, I'll go to xconstruct. Instead of arithmetic, we have to replace it by local notification. Okay, then I'll have to again search for this over here, as well as over here. Okay, now if you remember, I told you to remember the minimum deployment target. So here, as you can see, if it is not 16 for you, or whatever deployment target you have selected, I have selected 16. Make sure this is 16, this is 16, this as well as this is the same, whatever you have selected inside Xcode. Okay, so this is done. Okay, it looks fine. Just quickly go below. Okay, then we have to create a bin folder inside our plugin folder, so I'll just name it as bin. Then we have to run this particular command inside our terminal, so I'll just open my terminal quickly. We have to cd to our plugin folder, so I'll just open it over here. Cd to plugin folder, paste it, and here instead of arithmetic you will have to write local notification. I will run this and hopefully it should generate our .a file. In case if we have any error in our code, we will come to know about that as well over here. So just concentrate on the bin folder and it should be able to generate a .a file for us. Okay, it is taking a little bit of time for me. Okay, so everything is fine. Here you can see done building targets, and here I can see my .a file. Now what I'll do is I'll quickly create one Godot project. You can create it wherever you feel like. You don't have to create it inside the plugin folder. Create it wherever you like. I'll quickly create one and come back. Okay, so I have created my Godot project. Next we have to go to your Godot project, create a folder called iOS. Then inside that you have to create a folder called plugins, plugins with an S. Okay, and then you have to copy your .gdip as well as .a file. So I'll go back to my plugin, I'll copy the .gdip file, go to my Godot project again, iOS plugins, I'll paste it over here. Then I'll again go back to plugin, go to bin, copy the .a file, and I'll go back to my Godot project, iOS plugins, and I'll paste it over here. Now I just have to change the name of our .a file to local notification.a. So I'll just change that particular name. Okay, and next we have to go to your Godot project, click on project, export, add iOS, click on fix import. Make sure you add your App Store team ID. I'm not going to show you mine. So if you want to know how to find it, you can go to this particular URL. It will guide you on how to get your App Store team ID. Then you will have to enter your bundle identifier. I will just enter it as com.myawesomegodotgame. Okay, and also if you scroll down inside plugin, you should see this local notification. I'll check this checkbox as well. I'll enter my App Store team ID later on, but make sure you enter it now. Next I will create a 2D scene. I'll quickly save it, and here I will just create 2 buttons. Okay, I'll add one more button. Okay, this is my second button and this is my first button, and I will add one label as well, just to see what the signal has emitted. So I'll just expand this as well, and here I'll just paste it over here. I know my iPad or device height is greater than this, so even if this label is extending this bounding box, it's fine for me. Then I'll select all 3 of them. Theme override, font size, I'll make it as 30. Then I'll select this first button and I'll first click on request permission. So this would be the request permission button, and the second button would be send notification. I'll quickly attach one script to this. Then I will just drag and drop our label. Then I'll click on the first button, I'll click on pressed, click connect. I'll click on the second button, I'll click on pressed, I'll click connect. Then okay, I'll copy some code. So firstly, okay, I can just copy paste this entire code. So here instead of arithmetic, this should be local notification. Okay, and the plugin name is local notification with L capital. Okay, then this should be also local notification, and our if you remember, our signal name was notification result, so that's what I have done over here. I'll copy this, paste it over here, as well as over here, and once this signal is called, this method gets executed, get result, and instead of label 3, this should be just label. So whatever result I'm getting from our signal, I'm just displaying it inside our label. So I'll just name it as label. Again, you don't require this label, you can just display the output if you want to. So on first button press, we just need to call request permission, which we had defined. So I'll paste it over here, and on second button press, we get pasted this. Instead of arithmetic, we have to write local notification. I'll just quickly save, and I'll quickly run this as well, because we have to select current one scene, which is the root scene. Okay, I'll just stop this, because otherwise when you try to run it from your iOS app you might face issues. So we are done with the code. Okay, now all we have to do is export. So just go to project, export. I will enter my App Store team ID and come back. Then this button should be enabled for me. One more thing before I click on export is I have created one folder, empty folder. Again, it is not inside the plugin folder, just outside of it. You can create it wherever you feel like. I have just named it as my awesome iOS. The reason is that once you click on export project, it will create an entire iOS project for you, so there would be lot of files. So don't export it in an existing folder, otherwise there would be lot of confusion. So here you can see my export project button was enabled because I entered my App Store team ID. I'll click on export. I'll go back to my awesome iOS. I'll just click on save. Now this will take little bit of time. Once that is done, I will come back. The next thing, as you can see, my export was done successfully. You will have to go to the folder where it was exported and double click on this .xcode proj file. It will open it inside Xcode. First thing is you can just click over here, go to sign in and capabilities, make sure your team is selected. Now this team should be the same for which you have entered the App Store team ID inside Godot. Otherwise your app won't get installed. So select your team accordingly. I'll quickly select my team. I'll run my app and I will show you the output. Okay guys, so here is the output. So if I click on request permission, here you can see now there is one issue, like as you can see our label says notification not allowed. I will refactor the code. I will tell you where exactly is the refactor. This is a small bug, but if I click on allow, our notifications have been allowed, and if I click on send notification, here you can see my notification was displayed. Okay, I'll just move it over here. Here you can see notification was displayed. I'll click on send notification again. Here you can see my notification was displayed. If I if I quickly click on send notification, I'll move my app in background, still my notification was displayed. Now coming back to the issue which we had, so I think it is because of this. So what basically we are doing is get notification settings with handler. So if I think we should call this only if we have the desired permission, or I'm not sure if we really require this bit of code as well. So it depends on you whether you want this code or not, because I think I'm not sure like what would be the use case for this. But yeah, there could be a point that the user went to the settings and completely stop the notifications for your app. So maybe like just play around with this. Like you can either try moving this particular bit of code inside the if clause or inside the else clause. Else clause means notification we already have, right? So I think yeah, you can try that. But what basically is happening is that once we request a permission, that is an asynchronous task, right? So even before this getting executed, this quickly executes and it says that we don't have notification permission, even though the user still haven't really accepted or denied the permission. So yeah, depends on you. Like if you want this particular bit of code, you can keep it. Otherwise you can ignore it as well. If you want to keep it, try moving it inside the if clause or over here itself, so that once this is executed, then only this get executed. Maybe you can try this. Let's try this. Okay, so I'll just move it over here. So only after this is completed, this will get called. Okay, I'm not sure if this will work or not, but I'll quickly again we'll have to run that scons command so that it generates the new .a file for us. I will by that time uninstall my app completely, so that because we have to again request our permission. Alright, so my .a file was generated. Again I'll go to my plugin, bin, this is our .a file. I'll go to my Godot game, iOS plugins. I'll paste it over here. Oh sorry, this is the wrong folder. It should be in plugin. I was referring to that old folder which I had, bin, and I'll copy this. Okay, and this is my Godot project, iOS plugins. I'll paste it over here. I will just copy this name, local notification.a, and I'll delete it. This is our older file. I'll rename our new file. I'll go to my Godot project. I'll just click on export project again. I'll click on save. Yeah, okay, it will just override our project. Okay, and here it is telling, yeah, use version on disk. The export is still not done yet, so I'll just wait. And the Godot might get hanged because of this, like while exporting, if I try to click on Godot, it is not allowing me, it is not showing it to me. So okay, so now export is done. I will rerun my app. Let's see if this fixes it or not. Again, I have uninstalled my app completely because I want to request the permission again. So as you can see, this is our app. So if I click on request permission, okay, now it is not getting updated. If I click on allow, okay, because I'm not sending a signal once the permission has been successful, right? So if you see my code over here, if it is not granted, then only I'm emitting a signal. Here this is for if notification is not allowed. Here you can add an else clause if you want, just to emit a signal if notification permission was given, just like this we have. Okay, just change the message. And if I show you again, if I click on send notification, yeah, our notification gets displayed. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.